Moving on with the Manga Guide to Statistics by Shin, Takahashi. So I'm going to do 3. Getting the big picture, understanding categorical data. So again we have Rui and Mr. Yamamoto, and the heading is cross tabulations. Do you remember that categorical data is a type of data you cannot measure? Yes, at least up to today, she says. So they're having their tea, and then she says, why are you staring at me? You are wearing your school uniform today. Oh, this! I'm going to miss this uniform. Soon I will have to say goodbye to it. How come? You aren't graduating, are you? I thought you were still a junior. Our school is getting new uniforms, says Rui. Look, this is our new uniform, she says. A plaid sailor outfit. That's rather unusual, he says. So she says, we conducted a survey on the uniform design in our class. And it was something like this. Do you like or dislike the new uniform design? And the responses were like, neither, dislike, like, etc. And so what they did was, the whole class, there were 40 students, so they were asked to give their responses to like, etc. So the first, say, suppose there are 40 students and 40 roll numbers, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So roll number 10 wrote like, for example, 16 neither, then 37 says like, 40 says like, etc. And so she says, so here are the results. So these were the results. So he says, wow, the results of this survey are categorical data. So she says, you can't measure likes and dislikes, right? Mr. Yamamoto says, let's make a table of this. Let's make a table to get the big picture of all the data. So she says, oh, I remember that. And this is the table that they make. Response. How many said likes? So 28 people they counted out of 40. 28 liked the dress. Who said neither? 8 of them out of 40. And disliked how many? 4. So the total, when you total 28, 8 and 4, it comes to 40. And then you can work out the percentage. So they worked out the percentage as 28 divided by 40 into 100, that is 70%. 8 divided by 40 into 100, that comes to 20%. And 4 upon 40 into 100 comes to 10%. So this is all. So they have, these are the frequencies. And these are the frequencies in percentage. So he says, the teacher, I call this a cross tabulation. So she says, by the way, what was your answer to this survey question? So she says, I answered, I like it. So he says, here is a review question. What is the frequency of like? So she says, now she understands a little. She says, there were 28 people who answered like. So the frequency is 28. So he says, thus the percentage is 28 divided by 40 into 100 is equal to 7 by 10 into 100 is equal to 70%. And she's very happy. She says, okay. So she understands that. So now the teacher says, let's make this into a graph. It should become easier to understand. And she also says, I'm more used to looking at graphs. So this is what they did. So they made a graph in which like, neither, dislike. And the n is a total number. So like, how many? 70, neither, 20, dislike, 10. So the graph shows, now what does a graph, this graph, what does it show? It shows that more than half of the students answered that they like it. I guess the design of this uniform was fairly well received. So he's talking. I'm not surprised, she says. This uniform is cute. Well, if I were asked, I would answer that I like it too. So then she says, don't worry, we will never ask you that question. She's not really very fond of him. So he gives an exercise. A newspaper took a survey on political party A, which hopes to win the next election. The results are given below. So the respondents are this. They go to 10 respondents. And the questionnaire or the question they ask is, do you expect party A to win or lose against party B? So the first respondent says lose, second says lose, third says lose, fourth says I don't know, fifth says win, sixth says lose, seventh says win, eighth says I don't know, ninth says lose, and 10th says lose. So you are asked to make a cross tabulation from these survey results. So it's better to work out the frequency. So below is the cross tabulation. Response will be win, I don't know, and lose. The frequency is win. How many said win? 2 said win, so 2. I don't know. How many said I don't know? 2. And how many said lose? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. 6. So then you, just to match, you should see it comes to 10. So yes, it is 10. And then you work out the percentage. 2 divided by 10 into 100, that is 20%. 2 divided by 10 into 100 is 20%. And 6 divided by 10 into 100 is 60%. And the total is 100. So this is how. Simple, right? So it's written, summary is, one way to see the big picture of all the data is to make a cross tabulation. Okay. So this was basically turning the categorical data into frequency tables and understanding. So getting the big picture, understanding categorical data, that was the heading. Okay, so we'll continue on in the next class.